Have you ever felt like you're just constantly busy, juggling a thousand tasks, and then at the end of the day, you've got this nagging sense that you've tried to do way too much and actually accomplished, well, too little?
Oh, absolutely. It's a really common feeling, isn't it? And that struggle, that sense of being scattered, it reminds me of that old Russian proverb.
Which one's that?
If you chase two rabbits, you will not catch either one.
Ah, yeah. That cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? And that's really the core idea we're diving into today, finding and focusing on the one thing. It's like Curly's line in City Slickers.
Oh, the one thing, speech.
Exactly. One thing. Just one thing. You stick to that and everything else don't mean shit. It sounds so simple, so direct.
It does, but that simple idea often gets buried under all these common beliefs, these misconceptions. Our sources actually call them truthy lies, sort of muddled thinking that really misguides us.
Right, and stops us from getting those extraordinary results. So that's what this deep dive is all about. We're going to unpack those lies, look at the powerful truths behind them, and hopefully give you a clear path to finding and acting on your own one thing. Think of it as a shortcut to getting equipped.
Okay, let's do it. Where should we start? Maybe with those pervasive beliefs holding us back.
Yeah, let's dive right in. What's the first big one?
Well, probably the lie that everything matters equally. We all know the 80-20 principle, Pareto's idea, that a few causes lead to most of the results.
Mm-hmm.
But what's fascinating is how much we still underestimate that imbalance.
Yeah.
We act like everything is equal.
Oh, definitely. That really hits home. You look at a typical to-do list, and every item feels just as important, just as urgent. You end up incredibly busy, but not necessarily productive. It's like Henry David Thoreau said.
About the ants.
Yeah. It's not enough to be busy, so are the ants. The question is, what are we busy about?
Exactly. Because the truth is, results are never evenly distributed. And the research pushes this even further, talking about extreme Pareto.
Extreme Pareto, what's that involve?
It's basically taking 80-20 and applying it again and again. So what's the 20% of the important 20%? And then the 20% of that. You keep drilling down until you find the absolute single most leveraged action.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just about finding the vital few, it's about finding the vital one.
Precisely. It forces you to completely rethink what's truly important. It's about moving from just a to-do list, which is often just, stuff you have to get done to survive.
Right, like a survival list.
To crafting a real success list, something built intentionally around achieving those big, extraordinary results by focusing only on what truly moves the needle.
So doing fewer things, but the right things.
Which leads us right into the next big lie, doesn't it? This idea that we should be multitasking.
Ah, the myth of the multitasker. It's such a modern ideal, isn't it? We see it everywhere. People studying while texting, driving while talking.
But can our brains actually do that effectively? Handle multiple complex things at once?
Well, the science seems pretty clear on this one.
It really does. That Stanford study by Clifford Nass was quite revealing. He found that the people who thought they were great multitaskers, they were actually, quote, suckers for irrelevancy and lousy at everything.
Ouch. So it's not really multitasking.
No, it's more like rapid task switching. Think of a juggler. They're only handling one ball at any given microsecond, just switching really fast. It looks like simultaneous action, but it isn't.
And that switching has costs, right? It's not seamless.
Not at all. There are significant costs. You lose time with each switch. You make more errors. There's this cognitive residue left over from the last task. I mean, think about the studies on driving while on the phone.
Yeah, the distraction level is huge.
Huge. Even just an idle conversation can cut your focus by 40%, similar to being drunk. That's a massive hit to your awareness and your ability to react.
And it's not just about work productivity or driving safety, is it? This affects relationships, too.
Oh, deeply. That segmented attention is really damaging. Trying to have a meaningful conversation while someone's texting under the table, that switching cost isn't just time. It's presence, it's connection. It makes the other person feel, well, less important.
Yeah, definitely felt that one. Okay, so if multitasking is out, what about this idea of needing a super disciplined life to succeed? Like, you have to be constantly vigilant, always on.
Right, that's another common belief, that successful people are just disciplined machines, 20/47.
But the sources argue that's also kind of a lie.
Yeah, basically. Success isn't really this marathon of nonstop discipline. It's more like a sprint. You use discipline strategically, just long enough to build a habit, and then the habit takes over the heavy lifting.
Okay, so it's targeted discipline.
Exactly. You look at really successful people, it's not that they're disciplined in everything. They've just installed a few really powerful core habits.
So how long does that sprint need to be? Because everyone throws around that 21-day number.
Ah, the 21-day myth. Yeah, research from University College London pretty much debunked that. Their study found it takes, on average, about 66 days to really form a new habit.
66 days. Okay, that's longer.
It is. And the range was huge, like 18 days for some, but up to 254 days for others. So it takes persistence. Think about Michael Phelps.
The Olympian.
Yeah, see, incredible discipline, right? But it's channeled into specific, powerful routines and habits he built over time. Not some superhuman, always on willpower for everything.
That makes a lot more sense. And there's a benefit beyond just the one habit, right? Like a ripple effect?
Absolutely, halo effect.
Yeah.
When you successfully build one good habit, it tends to positively impact other areas. People report less stress, eating better, managing money better. It simplifies things because you're not constantly making decisions. The habit runs on autopilot.
Which brings us to willpower itself. Another lie seems to be that willpower is always available, like it's on tap whenever we need it.
Right. We think if I just try harder, if I just want it more, but it doesn't always work like that, does it?
Definitely not. Sometimes it feels like it just evaporates, usually right when you need it most.
Exactly. Because willpower isn't this infinite resource. It's limited and it's renewable, but it definitely depletes, like a phone battery getting drained through use.
Is that related to the marshmallow test?
Very much so. Walter Mischel's famous test showed kids who could delay gratification use that bit of willpower to wait for a second. Marshmallow had dramatically better outcomes decades later. Higher test scores, better coping skills, lower obesity rates, all linked back to that early ability to manage impulse.
That's incredible. One marshmallow predicting so much. What's the mechanism? Why does it run out?
Well, scientifically, it seems heavily linked to glucose. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain handling focus, decisions, impulse control, it's a real energy hog.
So it needs fuel.
It needs fuel. When your blood sugar gets low, your ability to exert self-control to make good decisions literally diminishes. There are studies showing that even a quick sugar drink can temporarily boost willpower for a task compared to a placebo.
Wow. So monitoring your fuel gauge is actually critical for decision making.
It really is. And the real-world impact can be huge. Think about that study of the Israeli parole judges.
Oh yeah, tell me about that again.
Their parole approval rates started around 65% in the morning after they were fresh. But as the day wore on, approvals dropped steadily, hitting near zero right before their breaks.
So when their willpower was low, they just defaulted.
They defaulted to the easier, safer decision, saying no. Then, after a food break, the approval rates shot back up to 65%. It's a stark example of how depleted willpower impacts critical choices.
That's sobering. So the takeaway for you listening is tackle your most important stuff early when your willpower battery is full. And keep an eye on your fuel, eat properly.
Definitely. Okay, moving on. Line number 5. The quest for a perfectly balanced life.
Work-life balance. That term really took off, didn't it? Especially since the 80s. It's presented as this ideal state we should all be striving for.
It is, but our sources argue pretty strongly that perfect static balance is, well, basically a myth, an unattainable pipe dream.
Really? So what's the alternative?
Life isn't about achieving balance. It's an act of balancing, or maybe counterbalancing. To get extraordinary results in one area, you have to spend disproportionate time there. And that means, by definition, less time somewhere else, at least temporarily.
So it's a dynamic thing, not a fixed state. I like that. It reminds me of that James Patterson analogy. The 5 balls.
Oh, the glass balls and the rubber ball. Yeah, that's powerful.
Right. Work is the rubber ball, drop it bounces back.
Yeah.
But family, health, friends, integrity, those are glass balls. You drop them, they can shatter.
It's such a vital distinction. Focusing intensely on your one thing at work doesn't mean neglecting everything else entirely. But it does mean consciously deciding where your focus needs to be and making sure you give enough attention to those glass balls so they don't break.
And trying too hard for perfect balance might actually be harmful.
It can be. There was that long study, 11 years, of British civil servants. It found that consistently working more than 11 hours a day dramatically increased the risk of heart disease by 67%. So counterbalancing isn't just about effectiveness, it's about long-term well-being too. Give your one thing the time it needs, but protect the minimums for your personal life.
Okay, final lie for this section. The idea that big is bad.
Yeah, megaphobia, as the sources call it. This kind of irrational fear that aiming for really big success automatically means unbearable pressure, stress, losing everything else.
So we hold ourselves back. We aim smaller because it feels safer.
Exactly. We subconsciously put a ceiling on our potential. But the truth is, nobody actually knows their limits until they push them. Thinking big isn't about guaranteeing you'll reach some massive goal. It's more like setting a direction, a possibility. It frees you up to ask bigger questions, try different approaches.
And it changes you along the way.
Absolutely. The sources give great examples. Candace Lightner founding MADD, saving hundreds of thousands of lives. Ryan Reljak starting his well project as a kid, bringing water to vast numbers of people. Scott Forstall and the iPhone team. They didn't start knowing they could do it, but they aimed big.
So the act of striving for something big actually makes you bigger.
That's the core idea. Your thinking expands, you develop new skills, you build different relationships. Your whole sense of what's possible grows. It's about choosing growth over comfort.
Okay, so we've torn down these 6 common lies. If these are holding us back, what's the simple, powerful truth that points the way forward?
Well, this really gets to the heart of it. It's about how purpose, priority, and productivity all link together. And it all starts, really, with asking the right question.
The right question. That feels crucial. We know answers only come from questions, right? And the quality of the answer depends entirely on the quality of the question. Voltaire, Bacon, Gandhi, they all hammered this point home.
They did. And the single most powerful question our sources identify, the focusing question, is this. What's the one thing I can do? And you insert your specific goal or area there, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary.
Easier or unnecessary.
Wow. That's the key part, isn't it? It forces you to look for leverage, for the domino that knocks down others. It reminds me of Andrew Carnegie.
About the eggs in the basket.
Yeah. He said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. He said, put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. Intense focus.
It's exactly that kind of focus, and it connects to that J.B. Rittenhouse poem, My Wage, the ending lines.
Any wage I'd asked of life, life would have willingly paid.
Right. The quality of our life, the wage we get, is often determined by the quality of the questions we dare to ask ourselves. This focusing question is like a compass, pointing you to the most leveraged action, the first domino.
And this question naturally connects purpose, priority, and productivity. Yes, they form a natural rhythm. Purpose gives you direction, like that compass. Purpose determines your priority, what matters most right now. And that priority drives your productive actions.
Can you give an example of how that works?
Think about Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol. His purpose shifted dramatically, right? From just hoarding money to actually caring about people.
Mm-hmm.
That new purpose changed his priority. His priority became using his resources to help others, like Tiny Tim. And that priority drove his actions. His productivity became focused on generosity and connection, leading to a much more fulfilling life.
And fulfillment seems linked to happiness here.
Very much so. Dr. Martin Seligman's work on happiness points to engagement and meaning, essentially. Purpose is the biggest drivers. Happiness isn't the goal itself. It's often found, as the sources say, on the way to fulfillment.
So for you listening, the first step is finding your big why, your purpose, even if it's not perfectly clear yet.
Exactly. Even if you don't have the ultimate answer, pick a direction that feels right and start moving. Clarity often comes through action, through time.
Okay, so once you have a sense of purpose, maybe just a direction, you need to live by priority.
Right. And it's fascinating, the word priority itself. It originally came from the Latin prior, meaning first. It was singular for centuries.
Only one first thing.
Exactly. It wasn't until the 1900s that we started talking about priorities, plural. We kind of lost the plot, the focus on the single most important thing.
That's a great insight. But sticking to that one priority is hard. We get tempted by immediate rewards, right? That discounting thing.
Hyperbolic discounting, yeah. We consistently undervalue future rewards compared to smaller, immediate ones, like choosing $100 now over $200 in a year. This tendency costs us those bigger, extraordinary results down the line.
So how do we fight that? How do we connect today's actions to that bigger future goal?
The solution proposed is goal setting to the now. Think of it like those Russian nesting dolls. Your ultimate someday goal contains your 5-year goal, which contains your 1-year goal, and so on, right down to what's the one thing you need to do right now.
Ah, okay. So my one thing for today is nested inside my one thing for this week, which leads towards my one thing for the year.
Exactly. It breaks down overwhelming goals into manageable, immediate steps. Your action right now feels directly connected to that big future vision. It helps you beat that planning fallacy where we always underestimate how long things take.
So purpose sets direction, priority identifies the next step, and that leads to productivity actually doing the one thing.
Right. And this is where time blocking becomes essential. Highly productive people, the sources argue, don't just work by the clock, oh, it's 5 p.m., I'm done. They work on event time.
Like the dairy farmer example.
Yeah, the farmer milks the cows until the job is done, not until the clock says stop. It's about completing the important task.
So block out time specifically for your one thing.
Definitely, and ideally a significant chunk. The recommendation is often around 4 hours a day if possible, dedicated solely to that most important task. And do it early when your willpower is highest.
Like Stephen King's routine.
Exactly. He famously blocks his mornings for writing, no matter what. And the question is powerful. Does he get to do this because he is Stephen King, or is he Stephen King because he does this?
Yeah, likely the latter. But protecting that time block, that's the challenge.
It is. You need strategies. First, build a bunker. Find or create a space where distractions are minimized. No email pop-ups, maybe no internet, a door you can close.
Eliminate the temptations.
Second, learn to say no. This is huge. Every yes to something else is implicitly a no to your one thing during that time. Find polite ways to decline, deflect, or delegate things that aren't your core priority.
And what's the third strategy?
The brain dump. When those inevitable other thoughts or tasks pop into your head during your focus time, just quickly jot them down on a separate list, get them out of your head, then immediately return focus to your one thing, deal with the list later.
Okay, so purpose, priority, productivity through time blocking.
Duh.
But there are deeper commitments needed too, right?
Yes, 3 key commitments really underpin sustained success. First is a commitment to mastery.
Mastery. That sounds big, like a lifelong pursuit.
It really is. It's about constantly striving to be the best you can be at your one thing. Continuously learning, practicing, refining the fundamentals. This connects to Anders Ericsson's 10,000-hour idea.
Right, about 3-4 hours of focused practice a day for roughly 10 years to reach elite levels.
Exactly. It takes dedicated time, that time block we talked about. Michelangelo apparently said, if people knew how hard I had to work to gain my mastery, it wouldn't seem wonderful at all. It's about the consistent effort.
Okay, mastery. What's the second commitment? Something about E to P.
Moving from E, entrepreneurial, to P, purposeful. E is just doing your best with your current approach, maybe hitting a ceiling. P is being purposeful about how you do things. It means constantly looking for better models, better systems, better ways to break through ceilings, even if they feel awkward at first.
So it's about improving the process, not just trying harder with the same old method.
Precisely. Always asking, what are my options? Is there a better way? And the third commitment.
Accountability.
Yes. Getting support. This could be a coach, a mentor, an accountability partner, even a group. Studies show that simply knowing you have to report your progress to someone else significantly boosts your chances of sticking to your goals and improving performance.
So mastery, being purposeful about improvement and accountability, they push you beyond just doing your best.
Like, they push you towards doing it the best it can possibly be done.
Okay. But even if we're committed, even if we have our one thing identified and time blocked, things can still go wrong. There are traps, right?
Oh, yeah. The path isn't always smooth. Our sources highlight 4 main thieves that steal our productivity even when we have the best intentions.
Thieves of productivity. Okay, what's thief number 1?
The inability to say no. We touched on this, but it's worth emphasizing.
Okay.
We want to be helpful, we want to be liked, so we agree to things that pull us away from our most important work.
It feels difficult, sometimes rude to say no.
It does. But remember that Good Samaritan experiment. Seminary students, literally on their way to talk about being helpful, walked right past someone in distress simply because they were told they were running late.
Wow. So urgency trumped compassion.
In that case, yes. 90% of those rushed didn't stop. It shows how easily our priorities can get hijacked. Saying a clear yes to your one thing requires saying no often to other things pulling at your time.
Okay, inability to say no. What's thief number 2?
The fear of chaos. This is a big one. When you focus intensely on one thing, other areas of your life might, well, get a bit messy.
Like the email piling up or the laundry.
Exactly. Or maybe projects at work that aren't the one thing get less attention for a while. We naturally resist this. We like order. But Francis Ford Coppola warned, anything you build on a large scale or with intense passion invites chaos.
So chaos is inevitable when you're focused.
Pretty much guaranteed, the sources say. The key isn't to avoid it, but to accept that some messiness will happen in other areas while you're zeroed in on your priority. Find ways to manage it, maybe tolerate it for a period, but don't let the fear of it stop you from focusing.
Except the productive mess. Okay, thief number 3.
Poor health habits. This is that silent thief. We think we can cheat sleep, skip exercise, eat poorly to get more done.
But it backfires.
Always, in the long run. You burn out, your energy plummets, your focus suffers, personal energy mismanagement kills productivity. The advice is to have a daily energy plan.
What does that look like?
It's about consciously fueling different types of energy. Meditate or pray for spiritual energy. Eat well, exercise. Sleep enough for physical energy. Connect with loved ones, hug, kiss, laugh for emotional energy. Set goals, plan. Use your calendar for mental energy. And of course, time block your one thing for your business or work energy.
So actively manage your energy, especially early in the day.
Yes, starting strong creates momentum that carries you through. It makes everything feel easier.
Makes sense. And the final thief, number 4.
Your environment doesn't support your goals. This includes both the people around you and your physical surroundings.
How do people affect it?
Well, as Oprah said, surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher. Who you associate with matters. High-achieving friends can boost your own motivation. Negative or distracting people can drain your energy and derail your focus.
And the physical place.
Same idea.
Yeah.
Is your workspace full of visual clutter? Is it noisy? Are distractions easily accessible? Your environment can either pave the path to your one thing or put obstacles in the way.
So you need to consciously shape your surroundings.
Absolutely. Take ownership. Curate the people you spend time with. Optimize your workspace, that bunker idea again. Remove the sight and sound thieves. Clear the path, and you're much more likely to reach your destination consistently.
Wow. Oh, okay, what a journey through this. We've tackled the big lies, everything matters equally, multitasking, constant discipline, willpower on tap, perfect balance, big is bad. Then we shifted to the truth. The power of that focusing question, linking purpose, priority, and productivity, living by priority with goal setting to the now, living for productivity with time blocking.
And those crucial commitments.
Yeah.
Mastery, moving from E to P, and accountability.
And finally, being aware of those 4 thieves, the inability to say no, fear of chaos, poor health habits, and an unsupportive environment.
It really paints a clear picture, doesn't it? It all seems to boil down to a surprisingly simple yet profound core idea. It reminds me of that little story, the father and son with the puzzle.
Oh, the world map puzzle. Yeah, tell that one.
So the father wants some peace to read his paper, gives his young son a world map cut into pieces, thinking it'll take him ages.
Right.
But the son comes back just minutes later, puzzle solved. The amazed father asks how, and the son says, well, on the back of the map there was a picture of a man. When I put the man together, the world just fell into place.
Ah, when I put the man together, the world just fell into place.
Bingo.
Yeah, that says it all, doesn't it?
It really does. Success is an inside job. You focus on getting your one thing right, putting yourself together, essentially. And the bigger picture, your world, starts to align. You become the first domino.
When you know your purpose, live by priority, and focus your productivity on that one thing each day, life makes sense. The extraordinary doesn't seem so out of reach.
And it connects to living a life of fewer regrets. When people look back at the end of their lives, the regrets are often about not living fully, not pursuing purpose, holding back out of fear.
So the final thought for you listening really comes back to that focusing question. Maybe take a moment right now or later today. Ask yourself, what's the one thing you can do, starting now, such that by doing it, everything else in your life or in a specific area you care about will become easier or unnecessary?
Choose that big life you want, but then go small. Focus relentlessly on that single next step, that first domino. Minimize those future cry wish I hads.
It's a powerful choice, and ultimately the choice is yours.